Hello and welcome, family, to another Dr. Mumbi spiritual show. My name is Dr. Mumbi Saraki with a message for whoever needs to hear this. You have absolutely nothing to be ashamed of, family. You have absolutely nothing to feel guilty of. You have absolutely nothing to hold any kind of self hatred, to hold yourself hostage mentally. That is the great lie. All is narrative, family. We're spiritual beings living this human life. This is a suit. This is a vehicle. This is like the thing that enables us to legally transact on this plane. You are not this body. And so whatever may have been done to you at whatever time in your life, or whatever you did to yourself, or wherever you feel you failed yourself, don't be ashamed of it. Tell your narrative so that it stops being kind of the shackles on your hands. You have absolutely nothing to be ashamed of for what others did to you and for what you've done to yourself. Forgive yourself, family. And this is not for those who have raped, killed, stolen, or destroyed others. It's for the chosen ones who came here with like pure love, just wanting to love the world and heal the world and let's go help Mama Earth. She's put out a call. And then just how we've been received by the world has almost taken our breath away. Like, because some of us, terrible things happened, whether it was in our homes. There was someone who wrote to me and told me how, her parents sent her to some elite Catholic school, thinking it was the best school in the country. And they used to, do all kinds of terrible things, torture them, literally, if you think about it, beat them, cut their hair, just inflict mental anguish on them. And all of this just, you know, creates this ocean of guilt, shame. Why did it happen? Because most of the times we were told not to talk about it. We were silenced. And so that experience couldn't flow out. It like flowed in, and then we were told to hold it in. But we are now in the age where it's time to just release it, family. Let it go. It's just a narrative. It's just a story. If you mess someone up, suck it up, because karma will come to you. But if you were the one who was messed up, derailed, detracted, distracted, hurt, injured, this vehicle, they did everything to this vehicle, but they never touched your spirit, family. They tried to. And some of us, it's just the story. That promise that we were chosen and we were here for a reason, and one day things would turn around. It was just keeping a focus on that brought us through. But we are entering our happiest season. As I keep saying, we're in the best of times or in the worst of times. But truly, there's new levels of joy coming to us. And some of us were even denied the basic levels of joy. So this will even be more overwhelming. But you have to remind yourself, like, all is narrative, family. I don't know who needs to hear this today, even if it's just one person. Don't feel guilty for those that sexually molested you or took advantage of you or for you being promiscuous as a teenager or whatever, because you had this core wound that you hadn't dealt with. It's all narratives. And that book has closed out. But some of us are keeping it open. Like we have the opportunity of a brand new life, family. And the only way we can like grab that and manifest that is by closing out the old book of life, like completely, like shut, gone. And that means coming to a resolution with everything. There has to be a conclusion in every story, family. There's a conclusion. Unless those to be continued. This isn't one of those. There's a conclusion to this book. Don't make it a series, family, where it only needs to be a book. You know what I mean? Don't repeat cycles out here, which means face what hurt you. And you'll find, like, when you get into the deepest layers, it's all about you and you, me, myself, and I. Let me say that. It's all about you and you, family. Because I don't know if I've released a show on here yet. You can probably find it on Patreon. But when I went through my shamanistic experience, to lift a curse that had been placed on me, etc., etc. You see, for us, curses are words spoken by people who know words have power. And they can speak power words. They can speak life or death into your experience. That's what makes them witches or wizards, etc., etc. Before I could even go into the space of lifting that curse, lifting those words, like scraping them, you know what I mean? Resolving them. First came the rage. And the rage was so intense, it could have consumed me. That was actually the most dangerous thing, family. It was such an intense, I don't want to call it darkness. It was just such a rage. Like, how could this happen? Was it allowed to happen? Because at my core, I'm a warrior queen. So it's just like, who are we taking down for this? Who are we? Vengeance, not vengeance, but justice. How dare you do this to me? That's how I felt. And it was so consuming that I would probably have spent this new book of life of mine seeking vengeance and, all that crazy stuff. And I'm telling you, like, it was just like at that moment when I was, then a guardian came. As I told you, I had a guide, a high level shaman. And anyway, a voice came and was like, "Are you ready to let this go?" And the minute I released the anger, and within the anger was like the covering, but inside of the anger was like the pain, the hatred, the remorse, the shame, all these things that, wow, okay. And releasing that, family, is what set me free totally and enabled me to close out that book of life. And that spirit of like anger had kind of been simmering in my spirit for a couple of months. And I saw it in the kind of like people I was attracting and, just the kind of mindsets that I was interacting with. But I realized, like, not going into a book of life where it's all vengeance and, no. Closing it out was the justice. Because you did all that. You spent a whole book of life to stop me from transitioning into this new. Death is an illusion. Before we had to die and be reborn. But we're in a season of resurrection. where you die to the old self, you die to the old book of life, and you're born in a new book of life. And that's when you realize it's truly mental, it's truly a narrative. It's truly a narrative, family. So release that, because that book of life is done. And your golden book is here. Like your this is it, man. Living here as a superhuman, doing all these amazing things that are waiting for us to do. That we're the ones who are gonna do all those amazing things. We're in for an amazing ride, family. So don't deny yourself this new book of life by refusing to close out a cycle. And it's not easy. I'm only saying this because I'm on the other side. I think when I was still in my anger, this would not have been it. I was still thinking, when is my justice coming? When is that was my I was consumed by it, because you say, if not revenge, because I'll do a special show on that. Because you see, as chosen ones, we signed an agreement. Actually, it's a whole separate show. But let me just pre-phrase it. We signed an agreement with Mama Earth where we wouldn't use our godly powers to harm the world, to throw the world out of balance. Because sometimes even bringing in too much of the high level spiritual vibes can throw the world out of balance if the group consciousness is low. It's all about the group consciousness, family. But when someone does something to you, then you can use the same magic, whatever, to do it back to them. And that was the slippery slope I was going down, family. But you see, it wastes your time. It's very consuming. Spell work is very consuming, family. It's so boring. I wonder how these people, because you have to, it's all about your mind. So it's not even about the potions and all this stuff. It's about that intention. You have to keep that emotion and that force focused on that person, like most of the time, like you see, until you're left with no focus for yourself, no life. The most imprisoned people are some of these people who have tried to do spells and others, and they're consumed by that because now their life is that. And then it's not working. So, first you had power, and power corrupts. And so you're always chasing a high. But forgive yourself, family. You have absolutely nothing to be ashamed of. It's all a narrative. It's all a story. And the story is closing out. And it can't close out while you still have emotional things going on. You need to release it so it can close out for good. Anyway, thanks to our Patreon family for sponsoring the show. Thanks to everyone that sends us love donations as well. There is a gift in the mail. And until next time, family, tuko pamoja. Looking for a conscious community, or for people, who are on their awakening journey, on their transition to an off-grid living in your country, well, we have the solution, family. We're calling it Unity Communities. We get so many emails every week from people who ask if I know of people in their region, or people in their city, or people in their town who are on a similar kind of journey, who have broken away or are breaking away from the religious psychosis, and they're looking for just people who think the same way in their town, in their city. But more importantly, to give us a community where we feel understood, understood, overstood, where we can bond with people of like mind. And if you feel called to be part of this, definitely email me at drmumbi at drmumbishow.com. Please put your country in the subject line with Unity Communities. Get in touch with me, drmumbi at drmumbishow.com. Unity Communities.